Hello P6. For today's numeracy lesson we are going to begin, as we always do, with the warm-up. And for today's warm-up we're going to be thinking about adding. So go to our P6 home learning page and find today's resources for maths. Download our addition warm-up challenge and have a go at adding some tens and units or hundreds, tens and units numbers. For our main activity today, we are going to return to looking at fractions. Now, we looked at fractions quite a bit last term. So we know that a fraction is a division sum. When we are doing fractions, fractions are always about dividing. And when we write down a fraction, we write two parts to a fraction. We have a number on the top and we call that the numerator, and the number on the bottom, we call that the denominator. Now, as we learned last term, the denominator is really important in a fraction because the denominator tells us the number of equal parts that I am dividing a whole number into. So the denominator tells me if I'm dividing by 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is I'm going to divide by. This, for today, is the key number we're going to be looking at, the denominator, the number that's on the bottom of the fraction. Because denominators tell us how many equal parts I'm going to split my whole number into. Now, since I'm not in school, I don't have any nice counters to use. So for today, I've lifted some coins. And perhaps when you're doing your work today, if you need any help with anything, perhaps if you can grab some coins, something like that to use instead of counters, that would be really helpful. So I have put out on my whiteboard here 12 different 1p's. I've got 12 1p's. And if I wanted to split them into half, if I wanted to find half of 12, well, half of 12 simply means split my 1p's up into two equal groups. So if I was to make two groups, so group 1, group 2, and if I was to split them up into two equal groups, making sure that I have the same number in each group, well, if I split my 12 into two equal groups, if I find half of 12, how many coins have I got in each group? I've got 2, 4, 6 in that group, 2, 4, 6 in that group. So what I've done is I've done 12 and I've divided it by 2, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. What if I wanted to find 1/4 of 12? So I've still got my 12 coins, and this time I want to find 1/4. So the thing I need to look at is the denominator, the number on the bottom of the fraction. The number on the bottom of the fraction is a 4. So I need to split my 12 coins this time into 4 groups. So group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. I can add another one into each one of those groups. I can add another one into each one of these groups. So I've divided my 12 into 4 groups. How many have I got in each group? Well, as we know, 12, when it's divided by 4, makes 3. What I'm doing is simply dividing my whole number by the number that's on the bottom of the fraction, the denominator. I wonder if you could help me work these ones out. So, without using coins, I wonder, could we start to work these ones out? What about the first one? 1/8 of 16. What does that actually mean? Well, I take my 16 and I simply divide it by the number on the bottom of the fraction. The number on the bottom of the fraction is the 8. So what is 16 divided by 8? How many 8s go into 16? Yep, it's going to be 2. 1/5 of 35. Look at the number on the bottom of the fraction. I've got a 5. So my denominator is 5. So my question then is 35 divided by 5. So counting 5s. How many 5s does it take to make 35? 7. 35 divided by 5 is 7. How would I find 1/9 of 90? Well, I take my 90. I divide it by the number on the bottom of the fraction, by the denominator. So what is 90 divided by 9? 90 divided by 9, of course, it's going to be, 10. Now, what if the numbers are a bit bigger? 1/7 of 868. Now, I don't know my 7 times table as far as 868. So If the numbers are a little bit bigger, then the best thing to do would be change it into a short division sum. So take your 868 and simply divide it by 7. So let's do it. So 8 divided by 7. Well, 8 divided by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. If I've got 8, that's remainder 1. 16 divided by 7. Well, 2 7s are 14. So remainder 2. 28 divided by 7. 4. So if I wanted to know what 1/7 of 868 is going to be, it's going to be 124. Can you see that we haven't had any remainders in our final answers? In the work that you're choosing to do today, P6, there will not be any remainders at the end. So when you choose your activity, make sure that you don't have any remainders left over. Now, if you find dividing hard, then perhaps you could use the division facts handout that's available on the website. Don't forget, if the numbers are bigger, you can use short division calculations to help you work it out. Okay, so set it out like that. Now, for your task today, P6, I want you to choose one of 3 pages. In all of them, all we're simply doing is dividing by the number on the bottom of the fraction, by the denominator. So that's your main activity today. There won't be any remainders in your final answers. There are answer sheets to go with all of them, okay? So you can download the answers to check that you're doing it right. For your third part of today's maths, I'd love you to go and have a go at today's reasoning activity. And in our reasoning activity today, we're thinking about rounding to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. To finish off your maths for today, I would love you to go back to our P6 home learning page. And when you go to our P6 home learning page, scroll down, and I would love you to find the information all about Prodigy. Now, Miss Lyon and Mr. Devlin and Mr. McKee have told me that last year in P5, lots of you enjoyed using the Prodigy game. So Mr. Gutsia has signed us all up for Prodigy for this year. And what I would like you to do is head back into the Prodigy website and start using Prodigy to help you with your maths for this year. Now, unfortunately, your P5 username has expired. So you'll need to log in with a new username and password. Now, to find your username and password, if you scroll down, as I say, in our P6 home learning page, you'll find all the photographs that have the different usernames and passwords for all of our P6s. So find your name and make a note of yours. And then what you need to do is you need to go to the Prodigy page. So there's a link there to take you to it. If you're looking at it on a desktop computer or on a laptop, up at the top of the page, there'll be a little orange button that says play the game. If you're using a tablet or you're doing it on your phone, that button isn't there. So if you need to, click on login. And when you go to login, what you'll need to do is go down the page a little bit where it says trying to play the game. Click on go. Then click on log in and use the username and password that you have been given. P6 Prodigy is a really good way of helping you to keep revising all the things that you've learnt so far, whether it's in P6 or in earlier years. Don't forget, at the start, it might be a little bit tricky. Some of the questions might be a little bit harder than others, but Prodigy very quickly adapts to find your level. And try perhaps to do a little bit of Prodigy maths every day as a final challenge. Good luck.